Janena Mareltien, Kamaramora Maintie Arwaki, Chendroni and Mar Dundlu, Odiching, Makawano, Antico Dwindo Nakaindi, Mabende Bruniso, Ninga, Kenwenda in Yosebedo, Kodwaka indi Kinde Kakinde, Odoluso, a watch, Mara Eurobond, Taibin Olemondo, Winjan Tokoro, Angogeri, Masani Konabet, Nidwake, Chakre, Sechimakor, Wadhi Minindi, Ninga, and Nico Kelo, Katakamano, Wendo now, we win you the Luo, watch Kodeki Zongo, Katakiswahili Mayot, Miokoro, Bedabeda Kanyedo King and Berry when Tirekodia Chilakachiel. Thank you very much, my guest. Welcome again to our studios, and I hope your December is on and you are happy that the Christmas is about to come.
Asante sana, thank you.
Yeah. It's good now you've begun getting this thing now.
Yes. No,
that's good.
I know a bit of it.
You know a bit of it.
And I'm improving.
You're improving.
I'm improving on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, maybe for those who don't know you, your name, and then we can get on to our debate.
Yes, asante sana. Jina langu ni Gitonga Wathanga. Kama nikuambia mara hiyo ingine, mimi nimezaliwa kutoka Nyeri, naishi Nairobi upande wa Starehe, but like I mentioned to you last time, nyumbani ni binguni.
Nyumbani ni binguni.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Gitonga Wathanga, right now the heat is just too intense. It is Eurobond, it is corruption, it is the talk of the day. Let's see what is in the Eurobond. Do you think the government's action, the recent government actions about Eurobond, is anything that suggests genuineness, or it's just a ploy to want to get away with this thing?
Like we predicted last time when we had this debate, we said that it was Waiguru, we have done away with Waiguru, but as we continue even pushing on the accountability on the monies at NYS, we predicted that now the next big issue was going to be Eurobond.
Yeah.
And it has now come to...
Yeah, you indeed predicted that. It's like,
yes.
It's like you had you guys have this thing written somewhere. You know your script so well.
Oh well, because it had been pointed out and ODM as a party and the code for that matter had been following on Eurobond.
Yeah,
it had been, it's only that they were taking time to get the figures right.
Yeah.
And for them to come out at this time, it's not that they didn't know, but it's not because they wanted to do the background. But all along they knew that figures are not adding up. They're not adding up, and the government here, the government of the day, did not really expect that the opposition is going to pick it up. That's why now they are coming up with explanations that really don't add up at all. Try to cover it up.
Yeah, they say as government that every cent, every shilling is well taken care of and was well spent on the Eurobond. They've gone as far as even doing press. Their press releases on dailies. They are there. Yesterday on Saturday, I know there was a press release on how the Eurobond was spent. Now, going forward, much has been said, but do you think this action by the government is enough to now arrest the concern of Kenyans over the Eurobond?
Of course it's not. And the government definitely is doing what they would be expected to do. They would be expected to tell us that they have used our money prudently. Yeah. There's no one time you'd expect them to tell us, okay, we agreed we did not bring the money here. You'll try and cover their tracks. Yeah. But whatever they have told us so far, they are only giving us figures, and other than for good accountants, usually the common people are not able to understand. They cannot really comprehend about all those figures. But we are only seeking simple answers. They are simple. It's clear, like day and night. It's like, fine, you have spent the money, all right, but on what? How did you spend this money? We want to see how this money was spent. So putting out those figures in the press, in the newspapers, spending a lot of our money, spending a lot of our money doing explanations that are not really adding up. Why? They give us specifics. We want specifics. That's not too much to ask.
Now, 140 billion is such a colossal amount of money. that I think, in your opinion, anything that is done with 140 billion is supposed to be seen, is supposed to be felt. If you inject that money into the economy today, what do you expect?
One thing is, such an amount of money, definitely it would have generated a lot of activity. Use Thika Road for example. Thika Road used 30 billion shillings project, and it was done over 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. It was, and then of course there was a lot of activity, a lot of disruption going on for the users of that road.
Yeah.
Here we have a government telling us that it brought in 140 billion and they used it within one financial year.
It's fully spent.
It's fully spent. And on what? No one. We haven't seen anything other than they tell us that the toilets they built at Kibera is what consumed the 140 billion. Those are the only projects that we have heard of. Not that we have really seen, but we have heard that they did some few toilets in Kibera. No, but nothing else. And how they were able to spend 140 billion on projects? They are to tell us. But if the spending, we know they can spend 140 billion.
Yeah.
Because there is this case where they spend 3.8 billion in one day. Okay, in one day. So spending on in an imprudent manner, they can spend 140 billion even within a month. Yes, but but if they were to spend on projects, there is no way they can consume that amount. There are no projects in this country that can consume that amount within one financial year. No.
That's true. Indeed, that is true. And if you are doing thicker roads, you do like another almost 10 thicker roads.
Yeah, precisely. At least minimum of 140 billion. You're talking a minimum of 6, 7.
About 7, 8 thicker roads.
And the thicker road probably also took a lot of money because of compensation. Because of the compensating the landowners and all of it. So in areas, say like if you are going we are doing a road to Mombasa, ideally there will not be as much compensation. So it can do much more than
the thicker road.
Than on thicker road.
Yeah. Now, still on that, Quad leader Raila Odinga just declined to have the summons from EACC. Now, is that a good gesture? Is it a good example for a leader who is duty bound and who is supposed to be a respect of institution to fail and declare that he is not going to honor or take up any of the summons that is given by the Anti-Corruption Commission?
Okay, thanks. Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is not just any other person. Raila does not represent himself. It's not Raila a person. It's not Raila as a person. Raila represents the opposition of this country.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the Quad Coalition. So when he's summoned, and when he gave out the statement, he didn't question it as an individual. He questioned it on behalf of the opposition. And then the opposition, definitely, they need to also respect the opposition. And as an opposition leader, definitely, he cannot succumb to summons that are not justified. Raila asked questions, okay? And he said very well at his last press conference. He said he does not have answers. He's seeking answers. So he had nothing to tell. He had nothing to tell really the EACC. What he's asking is answers. So what is it that they really wanted from him? He's asking questions, and the questions are there in the public domain. If they did not have those questions in the public domain, then they should have asked him. Then they get a copy from his office, or ask for a copy of the questions that Raila or the Quad Coalition is asking. Is where was this money kept? Why was it kept in offshore accounts? Who are the signatories? When was this money brought? In what accounts was it put in? Who are the, all those things. Those are the questions that Raila is asking, or Quad is asking. So he had no reason, and he does not have no reason to go to EACC. It's not a matter of defying, but he has no moral, he's no obligation to obey to unjust summons.
The DP president just said the other day that what Raila is doing is a complete overture to just sabotage the economy of this country. Do you agree with that?
We all know who are definitely the people who are sabotaging this economy. We know who they are, and seriously, even nobody really, especially when it comes to matters corruption, nobody seriously takes nobody takes the deputy president seriously. They know.
Why?
They know everybody, even himself. They know he's they say he's the high priest of. He's a high priest of corruption, and no, even his ardent supporters, they have no trust. When it comes also to matters corruption, they have no trust in him. So anything, he just his statements are just an attempt for cover up. For what they have done. Of course, they know what they have done with this money, and what people say when people are trying to cover up, they come to and claim that we are the siege now from saboteurs. They want to sabotage the economy. They want to deal with they want to bring the colonialists back. They are doing this on behalf of the colonialists, But it's only an attempt to cover up. Other than that, nobody seriously takes him. Nobody takes him seriously.
Okay.
If at all, there are any, very few people do.
Very few. Yeah. Then now, as CORD and as ODM, you've said that the ODM brigade, the CORD brigade, is saying that they're reading so much mischief in the way Raila has been treated on this. The government says Raila is hell bent on sabotaging the economy. Who is speaking what?
One thing is, the first place they said a junior, a very junior officer to the Honorable Prime Minister. What they wanted
is it the Prime Minister or the former Prime Minister?
Well, once the the title doesn't go.
Doesn't go.
Even MPs, when they are MPs, you hear them being Wanaita to the people refer to them as, even long after their tenure of office. The people still call them Waheshimiwa. Yes. Okay. So Prime Minister will always be a Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So they said a very junior officer, and he said what they wanted to portray, the image they wanted to create is Raila is just a kawaida person. Okay. It does not need any special treatment.
So you guys in the CORD think that this treatment that Raila got recently is actually not supposed to be the case?
It was definitely meant to demean him, because if they were taking him seriously and they respect his position, definitely the person, the very person who should approach Raila is if it's from the director of CID, is the director himself. If they're from the EACC, is a CEO or the head of it, but not just a junior person. Because it is you cannot. It's like you're telling me you want to go to the office of the president, and then you just send a corporal there, to go and do his investigation there. But it was an attempt to portray like an ordinary alaya. It's just a lie. So we deal with you the way we do it with any other Tom, Dick, and Harry.
So for you guys in CORD, that treatment actually was to demean Raila, and you people want to condemn that? It's
not only actually the people in CORD, but generally most of the country, definitely they treated they saw it as outrageous. Yeah. And a lot of people, not only CORD Raila supporters, but general people who really mean well for this country, they are not happy about that, because here is a person who is volunteering information, is asking questions, and that they need help from him. You cannot go and demand to be assisted. They should have harbored themselves and asked him, when a Prime Minister, you said this is there any information you can give us to assist us in doing the investigation? Other than that, they should go just do the investigation, and if they find that Eurobond was well spent, no money was lost, then if they think Raila gave false information, then they can come back later and charge him.
Okay.
He's giving false information. If at all he did, there is an offense. He did an offense, but they can't come, and the way they treated him was definitely was very unprofessional.
Yeah.
And it is actions like that can bring chaos into a country like this.
Actions like this can bring chaos into a country.
Yes.
We are going for a break. When we come back, we'll continue. We want to hear more about the treatment of Raila, and most importantly, right now, we want to hear if Raila's decline to go to the EACC is a measure of impunity, or it's an example that is not supposed to be followed, because he's a leader, he's duty bound, he's going to respect institutions. Now, we want to come and know if he said, I'm not going to come, and he's been summoned. What example is that one giving to Kenyans? Don't go away. This is your television network, and we are happy that you are following this program. Now, we will be coming back in just a while. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. If you're following this program right now, I'm with Gitonga Wathanga, who, as you all know, is our political analyst and looks at this thing the way they are. Now, we just said that actions like this would simply bring about a situation that people might not like in Kenya. It therefore means that people don't want other people to be questioned. Does it mean that you people don't want other people to answer to what is supposed to be their responsibilities?
Nick, mistreating Raila is not it's not mistreating Raila as a person. You are mistreating the rest of the opposition and his followers and his supporters.
Yeah.
And believe you me, there are many. There are many. So yeah, and we have his back. We have his back. There is no way that Kenyans or the court people are going to sit back and allow the government of the day mistreat our party leader. And we are not saying that he should not obey summons, but they should be justified. They should be justified. And also the language, the language in that summon was very, very wanting. So if they are summoning somebody in good faith, then it should be also be of
friendly.
Yes,
because we're friendly.
Yes, this one was in very, very bad taste. And if he feels and there's a good reason why, there's no reason why really he should not obey the summons really if it is good. And it's not such a hard thing. It's not such a task, if for him even to walk to EACC and tell them, you know what you're asking, I don't have any information. What I'm seeking for is information. You give me answers. I'm asking questions, and those are the questions that I'm asking. Whatever else you want, I don't have. If I did have the connect, I would not be raising the questions. I would be giving the answers. But what he's asking for are questions. And for him not to go for an NF to integrity center is not really saying it's impunity or anything. But we're saying that we cannot obey unjust laws. We cannot. So him as well, he cannot agree to appear on summons that are not justifiable.
Well, going forward, I'd love to hear from you if, like the president said during the Jamhuri Day speech, he said that, if you are giving accusations, if you're pointing fingers at somebody or on anything, please be ready to prove it. What do you take of that speech?
Our constitution provides for what we call freedoms. There is freedom of speech. Okay, there's freedom of speech. And when we talk, we don't necessarily have all the facts, right? But when we have issues like those of accountability, you might not have, or you do not necessarily have all the facts because you are not the custodian of the facts. And the reason why we might not be able to, somebody like the party leader is not able to give or to have the facts, or is because the custodian of the facts is the government and is refusing with the information. So how do you prove? The proof is supposed to be on time. And it is not a crime to say you have suspicion that money is not well spent or money is not available. There is no reason that is not a crime. Even if you are not able to, the government is the one that has got the responsibility of showing that money is well spent.
The burden of proof is with the government.
It's on the government. That doesn't mean that if you are not able to account, that you cannot raise questions. Will be raised. We will ask questions on every forum. We will ask questions about our CDF. We ask questions about our church money, how it is spent. We ask questions about, we ask. It doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily mean that when you ask a question, is that you have facts that money has been misused, but it's only that it has not been explained. So but Raider is not saying that necessarily that the money has been misused or has been stolen. What he is saying is we need explanation how this money was used. And even if he said it was stolen, the burden is on the government to prove, and not just with figures, but with the hard facts. This is what we did with the money, things that we can see. But if they tell us, that the money is what they use the money for allowances, okay, for going for those trips they go on every week, foreign trips, For instance, the president, I think in the last 1 week has visited 4 or 5 countries in the last 1 week.
Yeah.
By the way, I think, was it on Friday? On Friday, I saw delivery of not less than 15 new Mercedes-Benz E-Series E250 new, not less than 15 to the police on Friday.
To the police department?
Yes, to the police department. And you're wondering, what the heck are this for? 15 new Mercedes-Benz for the police. And I'm like, man, this is probably where some of our Eurobond money is.
Quite interesting to hear that. Now, going further ahead, the CS, Rotich, has said sometimes back that is waiting for like 3 weeks to get all the accounted figures from the ministries that actually benefited from the Eurobond. How does this work? I mean, they give out money to the ministries and not even knowing how they're supposed to be accounted for.
It doesn't get any more ridiculous than that. Because when you give, especially now when we borrowed this money for specific projects, for infrastructure development. And when you're talking about now giving out money to ministries, you are giving it out for particular projects. That is how it was supposed to happen. Because this money we didn't borrow money. I don't think we borrowed money for budgetary support. No, it was for infrastructure development. That is why we floated the bond.
Yeah.
Now, so when the ministry, the treasury was dispersing this money, it should have dispersed for particular projects.
Yeah.
So for him to come later and tell us, he's asking the ministry to tell him what projects they funded. It's ridiculous. He is the one who should be telling us, we did this, we gave 2 billion to planning for such and such a project. We gave 2 billion to health for such and such a project. We gave 10 billion to the Ministry of Transport and what have you because of certain roads. So probably the thing he should be telling us is he's waiting. He's asking for a report on how those projects, particular projects, known projects funded by the ministry, how they have progressed. What you should be asking for is the progress, but not asking for the ministries to account to tell him what projects they undertook.
So this also raises a question of management ability, the competence of the CS, because I think he's not supposed to be giving it like I'm waiting for the response from the ministries. He should have given these monies out on requisitions that were verifiable.
At the best you can say is incompetent, but I don't think it's incompetent. It's cover up.
It's cover
It's
up.
cover up. It's cover up. I don't think without you respect that the CS is.
It's very competent.
Yeah, I think it's very competent.
But on this one, you think it's a cover up?
It's cover up. Like Honorable Laila said, they are trying to cook books. They are trying to look for projects. You know,
Yeah.
where could we have? Where could you have spent this money on? Can you come up with a project? Do you tell us? You know, and they are giving them 3 weeks. They're like 3 weeks to do what? To look for a project that is worth billions. Why do you need 3 weeks? Seriously, that is something that if we are really serious, this is information that should be
there
it should
readily.
be there, and it should be available not within 24 hours.
Yeah.
No, but when you are telling somebody to go and account for pieces of change and you are giving 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Come on, it must, unless the government that they are serving is grossly inefficient.
Now, I don't know. What does then this make Kenya look like in the face of the fight against corruption? Ideally, we are losing every front of this war. Kenya is losing out on every war front on corruption. What else can Kenyans or can Kenya do to effectively arrest the corruption menace?
Yeah, in the first place, let me correct you there. We have not lost the war on corruption because we are not even fighting. We have not even started.
There's no war. As far as you're concerned, there's no war being fought
We
here.
have not even done anything. We have not put in an attempt to fight corruption in this country. Anything that we do actually, anything that this government does is based on corruption. It's corruption. In the beginning of with the way it was formed and how they came into office, and thereafter it's all corruption.
So, in your opinion, you think nothing is being done?
Nothing is being done.
No attempt at all?
No attempt at all. And if you look even at the opposition, other than our principals who are really talking about corruption, you find that even our MPs, they really don't have much to say about corruption. They don't. You don't even hear them talking.
They were recently cornered about the mileages, the false mileages and all that.
Yes.
It's corruption flying in the face of everything.
That's the main reason why most of our MPs are in Parliament. They are out to enrich themselves, not to offer any service. And that's why you find that you don't find much difference between our opposition and the CORD MPs and Jubilee MPs. It's very rarely. It's only when they are
That's the
talking
question we are asking then, Mr. Wathanga. What can be done? Because every institution, even the oversight institutions like Parliament, right now they've been thrown into all this mess. People claiming false mileages, people pretending to be in their constituencies where they are not even in their constituencies, they are somewhere overseas.
I think the general public, I think we've got to do more. We've got to do more than we normally than we are doing. We need to ask for more accountability. We need to put our legislatures and our other public officers into, we need to put them into check, because left to themselves, our MPs, and not only in this house but even in the previous parliaments, they have not really shown a lot of enthusiasm in also fighting corruption or even representing as well. So it has been the practice, because as well they came on. Most of them were also elected into office on a corruption platform, because they corrupted their way in there. Because a lot of them would corrupt to get the votes or nomination, and the money they paid for using the campaigns, they had even stolen it themselves also from so
it's corruption.
It's corruption. It's corruption. And like I told you, I have a big issue with I still have a big problem with the petition that I put in the house, because they really don't want to pass it.
I told you that here. In fact, I told you that, Mr. Wathanga, this one now, you are playing into their hands, and there is no way they're going to pass a law that is going again to put them into trouble.
I totally agree, because if one thing is, if that law was came into place, and when it will come into place, because it will come sooner than later. When it comes into place, one thing is we'll be able to tame this corruption, a lot of it. corruption will decrease by more than 50 or so percent. So we'll be able now, since if we are able now to tame the new corruption, now we'll be able now to look back now and tackle the old corruption. Now the ESCC is not able now to deal with the corruption because their cases are evolving day in, day out. They have many cases from yesteryears that have not resolved.
Their tray is full.
Yes, and then when they try to deal with, then other cases, are
coming up.
So
It's like now those ones now fall in order of priority, and then they pick the newest that has just come.
Yes, and when the newest now, after about 6 months, then another one comes in. So it becomes also very difficult for because corruption now is not has not been reducing in this country. It has been increasing actually, probably now, maybe even tenfold. The corruption of Kibaki regime was into about maybe a few billion, a couple of 100 million shillings, a few billion shillings. But these guys now, they are talking about billions and billions of when you talk about corruption cases now, it's billions of shillings. Billions of shillings, not just
huge money is here.
It's a lot of money. It might boggling.
Yeah.
It might boggling. And there's no wonder our children are still at home. They don't have employment because our economy is not growing. No wonder we don't have services. Our hospitals are still in a very, very poor state.
Gracious God. It's only God that now can speak for us. I think I'm very grateful that you found time to be with us. It's very juicy. I only thought we would go on and on and on. Unfortunately, time would not allow us to move on. But next time again, when we call you up, please be glad and feel free to come.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick, for having me. I will look out and see how this Europort plays out, how it comes out. But at the end of the day, what Kenyans are asking through the Honorable Prime Minister is, tell us in simple language, like a 2-year-old, how did you spend this money? What did you do? What toilets did you build? How many roads? Which road did you do here? Which dam did you do here? What hospital? Simple terms. Otherwise, figures, give us figures, that's what they don't add up. I do not understand them. Most of us will not understand those figures. Because they are too huge to contemplate. They're talking about 240 billion, 250 billion.
Huge amount of
money. This is huge amounts of money.
No problem. I think I'll end the discussion there, and hopefully next time again we'll have to talk something that is not corruption. This thing is just too much. We can't sleep. We can't even move around. It's corruption everywhere. But God willing, I know things will work. Great, you've been here, and just like I told you, please do come when we call you, because you are enlightening us on very many things, and our viewers are happy with your input on very many things on governance. This has been a program that's brought to you through your LTN TV, and now we are also glad that you can hear us from every other corner of this country. Please tune on every time and get these discussions running from this television network. My name is Nick Okello.